Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of the Unstoppable Woman podcast. I am super excited that you are here and listening. To me, this is a great topic to talk about because people are always like, okay, what did you do to radically increase your income, to have that income breakthrough? And if you don't know what that was, it was going from 138K a year to 700K a year in 1 year, 5 times my income in 1 year. So I want to share with you the 10 things that I did to 5 times my business in 1 year. Now, when I started to write these out, I realized that there were more than 10 things, but that 10 things would be a manageable amount to go through in one episode. So part 1 was 1 through 10. So go back and listen to that. There's a worksheet associated with it as well. And this episode, part 2, is 11 through 20. So this is another 10 ways that I 5 times my income in 1 year. And we're going to do a worksheet on this as well. So if you want to download that and take notes as you listen, or really ask yourself, am I doing this already? How am I doing this? And how could I better my best or really apply this at a higher level? Those are the kinds of things that I would write down listening to this. So if you want that worksheet, go to the unstoppablewoman.com/E327. So that's theunstoppablewoman.com/E327. This is a free worksheet for all of you unstoppables out there listening to this podcast. Please take advantage of this. It's part of what we do in this world, and we're happy to share them with you. Okay, so let's dive in here. Number 11, I studied and learned the laws of the universe, otherwise known as the laws of success. And I did not just take a passive attitude towards learning the laws. I took an active attitude. So I went to events and I immersed myself in listening to people talk about the laws. I chose my mentors carefully so that it wasn't just people who were blowing hot air, but had actually done what I wanted to do, and spoke about them in a very grounded way. And because I have a very strong logic mind, and if it was too woo, it wasn't going to work for me. So I studied and learned the laws. So important. I spent every morning studying the laws. I created this time. I put it as something that was super important to me. But that's number 11. I studied and learned the laws. Now, adjunct to this, number 12 is I applied the laws, because what I see a lot is people studying but not applying. It becomes philosophical. They can talk about it a lot, but they don't actually put it to the test. And they don't keep putting it to the test. They just talk about it. So I kept applying them so that I could understand them in my cellular being, in all of me. So I was 100% on board with them. I tested them. I was like a scientist. Is this what it means? Let me test it out. Oh, well, that worked. That didn't work. Oh, what does this mean? And then I asked my mentor for interpretation on what that meant to me. Okay. And I kept doing this at a higher and higher level until I understood completely what the laws were and how to apply them. And I still apply that at higher and higher levels now. So it never stops. So it's not one and done. You can't think of it that way. But you do need to get to a level of mastery, and that doesn't take just studying, but applying. Okay. Number 13, I kept my word to myself. I was accountable. So much of my life, I said I would do things and I didn't keep my word to myself. And so I wasn't learning how to be accountable. And I wasn't perfect here, guys. And I'm still not perfect here. Okay. So don't go for perfection. But what I did do differently was I said, These are the things that I'm truly accountable to. I made a choice. I made a decision. This is super important to me, and I'm going to be accountable to these things. And to those, I kept my word. Okay, so I built trust in myself. This is about learning how to keep your commitments. Okay, number 14, learning discernment and how to trust myself. And this is the law of cause and effect, right? You cannot learn discernment in a vacuum. You have to do something, get feedback, have an experience, and realize that you are going to survive, number one, but also what this cause that you put into effect, what it meant. So oftentimes people ask me, how do you know how to trust spirit versus trusting yourself? Like, what is the voice of infinite intelligence versus your scared small voice? How do you know the difference? And there's lots of ways to identify the difference, but what I want to give you right now is that you have to put it to the test. You have to say, okay, if this is infinite intelligence speaking to me, I'm going to test it out and then look back and say, okay, well, that was or that wasn't. Okay. Same thing with the laws. Like, I started to see how I was interpreting the laws, and was that the correct interpretation? I did the thing, I took the risk, I took the action, and then I looked back and I was like, okay, what did that mean? And this built my level of discernment. This is also about understanding that your body always gives you clear direction. Now, most people in the beginning think that the fear that they feel in the body is a reason to stop. And you have to learn discernment here. And you learn that through taking action, experiencing the effect, and learning what it means. And this is how you learn that you're not going to die, and you start trusting yourself. Okay, I learned number 15 is I learned to connect to spirit, source, infinite intelligence, God, the universe, whatever your word for that energy that is, all the energy that is. And I learned to differentiate that voice, that truth, and to follow it. Again, testing this is super important. So you're not so afraid to make a mistake that you don't test it out. You have to test it out. This is how you learn what that voice is. And then I learned how to connect as a technique, and I learned how to drop into that and become one with God, spirit, source, the universe. Okay. And so that's a really critical piece, because if you are tapped into the infinite mind, you will understand the direction to take, the action to take. And that was super important for me. That's a little bit on the woo side for some of you, but for others, you'll know what I'm talking about. And this was so critical. I had to learn how to do this. Number 16, persistence. Persistence was huge. This is like the idea that you keep going even when it looks like things are falling apart. Okay, so things are going to look like all hell is breaking loose. You're going to think, why is this happening to me? This is too much for me. I can't handle it. What does it mean? All of that stuff. And really, in that moment, you need to change how you're showing up, meaning you have to look at cause and effect. You have to look at what you need to do differently to put new effects in play. And you need to be 100% personally responsible for that, and not saying, oh, life is happening to me, but you are 100% personally responsible for all your results. Okay. And you need to put new actions into play, new causes into play that get you different results. And you need to be persistent about that. You don't stop at that work, at that part. Okay. And here are some tips around doing that. When things are falling apart, you do need to take action, but you need to take it from, you need to do a little reset. So you need to take it from a different perspective and different energy place. So one thing you can do is you can tap into the laws, get back immersed in that, have that change your perspective. You can listen to this podcast. You can have that change your perspective. New ideas will drop in. And this is what I did every single morning was I dove into the laws. I dove into my inner game practices and processes that I now teach, right? I changed my perspective and my energy level, okay, so that I could be persistent. I got tapped back in to what I really wanted. Sleep is a great reset. So I use sleep at night as a reset, but you can also use a nap as a reset that just allows you to like start afresh, changes your state. You can take a walk. That was what I did. Some people work out, they run, all of that, but walking was a big thing that I did in that first year that I was making this income breakthrough, this quantum leap. I would get into like a panicked state and I would go walking, listening to something that changed my perspective. And walking creates crossover in your brain, your left, right side of things, and it helped me get grounded again. Okay. I would write my mentor. And the way that I did this was a particular process that I wouldn't just write. Sometimes I think it's fine to just write and vent, but by and large, I wrote, this is what's happening. This is what I see it to be. This is what I think I need to do differently. Is there anything else you would do? Would you do this differently? I would ask from the perspective of the laws, and I would ask from the perspective of tactical action, which is the law of cause and effect. So it's not separate. And in the writing out of the problem, I would see solutions, present them, and that allowed me to get the next level instead of just the base level of feedback. It allowed me to get the next level of feedback. Okay, number 17. I got out of scarcity, you guys. I decided I was really going to work on my money beliefs. And again, not just on the inside, not the thinking, but the action needed to be different. So I started to really work the first law of receiving, which is giving. Giving is the first law of receiving. So I wasn't that I was going to give everything away, but I got energetically out of the scarcity of, if I give all this great stuff on the podcast, are they not going to buy? Right? Like, I don't even think that. Okay. And when I was doing this, I didn't even have a podcast, but if I give all this great information away on social media, are they not going to buy? Right? Like, I got out of that. I got out of feeling limited in how I was spending by taking action to invest in myself and spend money on myself at a higher level. This was a way of getting out of scarcity. I gave to charity, even when I thought I didn't have the money. I gave money to strangers, and significant money to strangers, even though I didn't feel like I had the money. So I started watching the scarcity thinking everywhere and taking different action. And like I said in a previous episode, one of my trigger thoughts is, I don't need this. And another thought was, I could buy this later, or how can I get by? Okay, all of those thoughts you need to use as trigger thoughts to stop yourself from stopping, and instead go buy the thing, go do the thing. You get out of the scarcity by spending money, investing money, and then being the person who works at a higher level, okay, who makes the income to support that. You use it as leverage. I'm not saying go spend money and then wait for money to fall from the sky. It doesn't happen that way, guys. Okay. Number 18. So segue from the previous one, I learned how to do sales at a much higher level. Okay. So this is going to trigger some of you guys because you think sales is sleazy, or you think sales is bad. You just want to have automated marketing and never have to do sales again. But guess what? Money moves through the mechanism of sales. You have to learn how to do sales. Okay. You have to do it anyway, even though you're uncomfortable with it. And you have to learn how to do it at a higher level. Okay. I made a ton of mistakes around sales. But again, I had to learn how to do it through the feedback cycle, the looping of doing it, making a mistake, getting feedback, and doing it better the next time. Okay. But I invested time and money into learning how to do sales. And that was really super important and quite a big thing in how I quantum leaped my income, because you need to have that skill. Okay. Number 19, I raised my prices. Now, I had tried to do this previously, not as significant an amount, and I wasn't able to hold it. I wasn't able to do it. But this time I was able to do it because I had gotten all that leverage. Listen to part 1 of this podcast. I'd gotten all that leverage over myself. And this segues into number 20. I changed my self-image. Okay. You have to understand the role that your self-image and identity play in what you will allow yourself to be, do, and have in this world. And that's something that I talk a lot about at the summit. You have to learn how to do this. Okay. That's actually number 20 is the most important way that I increase my income by 5 times. The most by large. I would say that was huge. I could only do that by investing in myself, right? All of these things kind of go together. I could only do that by investing in myself. I could only do that by working with someone who had done it before, right? And could lead the way there. Could only do it when I started learning the laws and having belief in myself. All these things come together. So wasn't afraid to make mistakes, all of that. So you have to change your self-image. Okay, so I'm going to do a little review here. Number 11 was studied and learned the laws. Number 12, applied the laws. Number 13, kept my word to myself. I was accountable. I learned how to be accountable. Number 14, I learned discernment and how to trust myself. Number 15, I learned to connect to spirit, source, infinite intelligence, the universe, all the energy that is. I stayed persistent. Number 16. Number 17, I got out of scarcity. Number 18, I learned sales. Number 19, I raised my prices. Number 20, the most important, I changed my self-image. Okay, couple announcements here. Love to see you guys at the summit. It's not too late to grab tickets. It's a 3-day event, May 13th, 14th, and 15th. It's virtual. It's from 10 to 5 Eastern. Tickets are on sale now. Go grab them at theunstoppablewoman.com/summit, and also grab your free PDF worksheet that lays out all these different steps, these ways that I 5 times my income. And know that there's more, that we're just touching the tip of the iceberg, and I don't want you to miss out on really making your income breakthrough. So go get your summit ticket. Would love to have you there. We have a great community of unstoppables that show up, and it's we make it fun. We maximize our time together. We give you the tools you need to have to leverage. So please go to that and grab your ticket now. Okay, have an awesome day, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Take care. Hey, thanks so much for joining us and being part of the Unstoppable Woman movement. We have got a ton of free resources for scaling your business at theunstoppablewoman.com/free stuff. And you can find that link in the description below. So go ahead and check those out. And we'd also love your help in getting our message out to more and more women. If you'd be willing to share this video with all the unstoppable women in your life, that would be fantastic. And while you're at it, hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Reviews, likes, and comments are greatly appreciated. We go in and read them all. So thank you for those, and thanks for listening, and be unstoppable.